Welcome, everybody, back to the Nuggets of Gold podcast and YouTube channel. So in this video, I want to talk about how bad the 49ers corners are going to be next week and how this is a super, super serious injury to Emmanuel Moseley. Not that it's going to derail his career or anything like that, but for the 49ers season, they are in a very tough spot right now at outside cornerback. Um, Instead of having Emmanuel Moseley, who's over the course of the season, because Jason Verrett was injured, he's been their best outside corner, been extremely consistent after his, I think it was an ankle injury early on in the year that kept him out a couple games. But since then, he's been really, really solid. High ankle sprain, he's out. The guy is going to step into his place as Dante Johnson, and this is something that I am very, very concerned about. Throughout Dante Johnson's career, he's been it feels like a Niner forever. He has been really bad when he's been in man coverage. Guys are going to absolutely toast him. And we look at who this matchup is going to be against next week, and it's going to be Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd's almost exclusively in the slot, so won't really man up on him that much. But Jamar Chase, that is an absolute mismatch nightmare for the 49ers. Jamar Chase on both sides, too, because Norman's on the other side. And although Norman has punched out a lot of fumbles this year, he's got cooked in man coverage pretty much all season long. Last week was an awful game by him, but I'm extremely concerned. I think this is going to be something where the 49ers could potentially get picked apart for the duration of this Emmanuel Moseley injury. Now, the good thing for next week is that, unfortunately for the Bengals, their offensive line is pretty banged up, and they got absolutely killed up front by the Chargers. The 49ers should do that as well, but the problem is, like, how long can that coverage last? How long are corners going to be able to hang with Jamar Chase, with these guys? The big play threats now from the 49ers defense, it's so bad. It's going to be really, really tough for them to succeed. Just looking into it makes you really confused of why they didn't make this a bigger part of their veteran signings. You can go get a guy like Brashad Breeland, and I know that a lot of people do not like Brashad Breeland. You can sign him as a cornerback 4, and if the 49ers did that right now, their situation would be so much better. He costs less than $2 million. That's how much they put this on the back burner. And the injuries, it's not like they've been like stacked up with a ton of injuries. The Jason Verrett injury should have been expected. He's been hurt almost every year of his career. It is incredibly unfortunate, but it's not like that's been anything new with how his career has gone. He's a great player when he's healthy, but that's like a coin flip when it comes to signing a guy like that. So if he's a potential guy to go down, you need some depth there, and they didn't have any depth. They drafted a couple guys, and I'm going to talk about Ambry Thomas and Diamador Lenore here in a sec, but I don't think that they weren't expecting them to play a significant role. But I don't know why they would ever think that, because they don't have depth at corner. Like, that was their depth, those two guys. They didn't have a veteran corner to come in and provide that outside of Emmanuel Moseley. And then they go and they get Josh Norman and Dre Kirkpatrick. Dre Kirkpatrick was absolutely that was a disaster. But Norman hasn't been too great either, and he started almost the whole year. I'm not like I think Norman could have it could have gone a lot worse. But that's not like some like great signing. Rashad Breeland could have been signed for $2 million. If he's your cornerback 4 this year, it looks a lot different when you have guys coming in for injury. Now, aside from that, they absolutely should have gone after some veteran corners. You look at the guys on the roster, I would much rather see Diamador Lenore instead of Dante Johnson. And apparently Ambry Thomas is starting to look better in practice. Early on this year, it did not look like that. But if he is showing improvement, then I'd rather see him out there, because we've already seen what Dante Johnson does when he's part of the 49ers secondary. He gets absolutely picked apart. It's not that he's awful on coverage, like he's getting completely burned. He doesn't. But he does not have ball skills. Every time that he's like on the ball, the receiver goes up and makes the play over him. What do you guys think Jamar Chase is going to look like on this guy down the field? It is going to be terrible for the 49ers, and I think we're going to see them really struggle in this department. The pass rush, I want to see some more Arden Key, Eric Armstead inside. That has been fantastic when they've been able to throw that out there. We saw Jordan Willis get a pressure. We saw Omenahu get a pressure. And then, of course, Nick Bosa has been an absolute monster. We could see a game where Bosa, Armstead, Arden Key, I think those are the 3 guys where they dominate this game and the 49ers can hang defensively. But if those guys aren't providing immediate pressure, and like Kowalski and Jimmy Ward aren't great on the backside and on the help defense on some of these big shots down the field, the 49ers could find themselves in a lot of trouble in this game against the Bengals. And this is one that I think offensively the 49ers match up great against, but the cornerback room, like that could really hurt their season so much. Where I do think they're going to make the playoffs. And like, if you look at like Football Outsiders and some of these websites that like predict your playoff chances, they're in like 60, like high 60s and like up to like low 80% of like what they're expected to make, like that they're expected to make it into the playoffs. But this is an injury that is that significant where you have such a mismatch almost every single week you go against, because you're going to have Dante Johnson and Josh Norman outside. So this is somewhere that they could get killed. And gotta hope that Emmanuel Moseley gets healthy if this team does make the playoff for a playoff run. Else that is going to be a disaster. If you have to go meet Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers in the first round, you're going to be toast if that's the case. But with all that said, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Would much rather see Ambry Thomas or Demonor Lenore in there, but the fact that the 49ers have just kind of put the cornerback room on the back burner is it's going to look really bad, I think. And this could really burn the Niners in the next couple of weeks here. So hopefully Emmanuel Moseley's high ankle sprain, he recovers from that quick, because they're absolutely going to need him. So I'll talk to you guys very soon. But, pretty tough video here today because of this injury. It's a huge blow. So talk to you guys soon.